One of the emotions that God often uses in prophets is anger, not selfish, uncontrolled anger, but a holy indignation that mirrors his own heart towards injustice. And this righteous anger isn't something to suppress. It's a spiritual tool that drives prophets to confront what is broken, to expose what's been hidden, and to demand what is right. And when God places that kind of anger in the heart of a prophet, it's because he intends to disrupt the systems, the structures, the spirits, and even the gatekeepers who oppress his people. We see this kind of anger all throughout the Bible. Amos the prophet, he cried against economic exploitation and religious hypocrisy, said, "Let justice roll like waters." Micah, he called judgment on priests who tore skin from God's people, those who were corrupt, who twisted the scriptures for personal profit. And Jesus, the ultimate prophet, he stormed the temple, flipped over tables when he saw that they had turned his father's house into a den of thieves. And that's what prophetic anger looks like. It's a passion that's fueled by God and compassion for his people, and it's ignited in the face of injustice. The church has always tried to neutralize this type of prophetic anger. They've presented us a Jesus that is complicit and passive so that we might be pacified in the face of injustice. This type of Jesus is nothing more than a tool of control, manipulation to foster submission and to cause you to disengage from the systems of oppression that God has called prophetic people to cry out against. The Jesus of the Bible is anything but passive. He condemned Pharisees as whitewashed tombs who were blind in their own greed. He publicly rebuked religious leaders who had put burdens on his people while doing nothing to help them. He disrupted the status quo so thoroughly that that's why they killed him, not because of some religious message, but because of his stance against oppression. The real Jesus confronted injustice head on, and anger was inseparable from that passion that was driven by love and redemption. The same spirit persists today. Priests and prophets are manipulating scripture in order to foster an attitude of meekness, submission in you so that you will tolerate oppression in the name of peace. The same Jesus who said, "Blessed are the peacemakers," is the one who said, "I didn't come to bring peace but a sword." Because true peace is impossible without justice. And the religious system's version of peace, one that sacrifices justice for the sake of quiet, is a counterfeit. And that's why God stirs up prophets with a righteous indignation. These messengers who are not called to pacify, but called to disrupt, called to expose corruption, to confront exploitation, and to challenge the systems of abuse and the gatekeepers of those systems. It's a necessary feature of our call. And so the religious system will always try to shame those prophets, to silence us, to brand us as troublemakers. But prophets, hear this. Your anger at injustice is not something to hide or suppress. It doesn't even belong to you. God put that in you. It's a part of your mantle. It is a part of your grace and your wiring. You're called to speak truth to power, to defend the vulnerable, to declare God's righteousness, no matter the cost. If Jesus flipped tables, what tables are you called to flip?